Hi, I'm your realtor, David Locke with Locke&Key Associates, and I have my guest, Craig Cahaly. Craig is a native of Anderson and the owner of Cahaly's Clothing, and he is married with and has 3 children. So thanks for being my guest.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, certainly. Well, tell me, so you do bespoke menswear. I'm wearing Craig today.
Yes.
And he dresses a lot of the businessmen in Anderson and the upstate. So tell me, how did you get into bespoke menswear? Did you just one day say, I love clothing and I want to make a living doing it? How did that happen?
So, David, first of all, thank you very much for having me. It was a very interesting story how I got into clothing. When I was in college, I went to the University of South Carolina, and when I was in school, my dad and mom paid for our school, thank God. I greatly appreciated that.
Sure.
And he called me. I was the last of 3 brothers, so he called me and said, listen, son, you're killing me. Like, I need a little bit of help here. So he wanted me to go get a job just for some beer money, you know. And so my oldest brother, who is currently living in Columbia, knew a guy that owned a men's clothing store. And he called Joe Lurie. Shout out to Joe Lurie. And Joe said, sure, I'll hire him, but tell him to come here. We'll run him through the ringer for an interview. Mm-hmm. So long story short, Joe hired me for $6 an hour. I worked 3 days a week in a men's clothing store. It was a completely retail store, very high-end men's clothing store, and continued to build a couple clients here and there and thought, all right, well, I'll get a real job one day. Yep. And then I went to the competitor's store. A year and a half later, the competitor came in and hired me and asked me if I would come work for him. Mm-hmm. So I did, which was Granger Owings in Columbia, South Carolina. Yep. And then I worked there, and I became one of their top salesmen. And then in 2009, I opened my own.
Fantastic. Now, was your first shop in Anderson?
Yes.
Well, tell us, where are all your locations?
So we have 2 in Anderson, one of which I'll tell you about in a minute, 1 in downtown Greenville, and 1 in Macon, Georgia.
That is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So you're almost a chain,
well,
but with personal service.
That's right. And I travel all over the country to see people, so.
Oh, fantastic. So do you do trunk shows as well?
I do. Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful. Well, how have you seen consumer trends change in your career?
It's interesting. So when I first got into business, everything was 100% suit and tie. 100%.
For sure. We always wore a suit and tie to church every single
right.
Sunday.
That's right. And then what happened in the probably mid-2000s, things started to get a little casual. Mm-hmm. And when I say casual, I mean almost kind of what you and I are today.
I haven't worn a tie in years.
And then it got super duper casual. And what tends to happen in clothing trends, especially in the business world, is the managers or the powers that be allow people to get a little casual. And what happens is people get a little too casual.
Right.
So when they do that, they have to rein it back in, and they say, all right, guys wearing coats, dress shirts, collar shirts, whatever verbiage you want to use on that. So the trend I'm seeing now is, and a lot of people find this very interesting, is not dress for work as much as dress for entertainment.
I've seen that.
People are really dressing up to go out and do things.
For sure. Date night, you're going to have on a sport coat. I had a friend one time that said, I wear a sport coat to the mailbox.
Yeah.
He had them on all the time. It was a lot of because of what he did for a living. But I know you go to Walmart, it's like Tim Gunn, the fashion expert. He says it's a slobification of America. Sometimes I'm like, come on now. T-shirt and jeans is fine, but let's be a little more dressed up.
That's right.
Well, I talked to you about how you began your business, but how is Cahaly unique? Because there are other competitors, like you just said, and I know you even are a competitor against, say, Dillard's and Belts and some of these other establishments, but there are also other custom clothiers. So how is Cahaly different?
Well, one of the things that's really different, I would say, about me is, and Cahaly's custom clothing is, I like to say that I hope it's different because of me.
For sure.
Number one. And number two, one of the things that has been the biggest blessing in my life through work is the relationships we build with our clients. And everybody who owns a business talks about relationships with clients. But I literally, some of my dearest friends are customers of mine. They were customers first.
For sure.
And then became friends. The avenues and the doors that have opened for me, my family, my extended family, through the relationships I have built in the clothing business are still mind-blowing to me, very humbling to me.
And that's how we met.
Yes, absolutely. And I think one of the things that makes us unique is, I think that is the main thing, is the true relationship. There's a lot of people who buy something from somebody, and that may be the person they buy from all the time, but there's really no relationship. They just know them because that's who I buy my frames from, or whatever it is. And the other thing is, being that I own the business, I don't call on you and say, hey, I got to hit a certain margin, or I got to do this, that, or the other. And if we make a mistake, which we're humans, we will correct it. It's not, well, sorry, that is what it is, and you get what you get. We're going to take care of it all the way to the very end. So, and all of the people that work for me are very well trained in doing that as well.
Well, I know one of the first times that I dealt with you, his first sport coat that Craig ever made for me, was he asked me, he said, do you wear a watch? And he made this sleeve just a little shorter than this one so my watch would show. And that was very impressive. And you can customize things all the way down to like the buttonhole. And you've done shirts for me. I mean, and it's really cool when you go into your shop, your customer almost becomes the designer.
Absolutely.
You can make a shoe for them. You can you've made my tuxedo. It's really a cool experience. It's not an experience you're going to have if you just buy something off the rack. And then the other thing, I know I bought a sport coat that was on sale, but it was by Carolina Herrera. It's a designer name, and I feel like I look like a hunchback in it because it's not made for my body. So I would rather have 2 or 3 that are made for me than
and
10
you get a
that
little
are not.
spoiled once
You
you have them made for you.
For sure. Well, what are the current trends that you are seeing in men's dress?
Well, one of the, you and I talked about that question, and one of the things that I thought about last night was definitely, and you and I are both kind of rocking it right now, is sport coats with jeans, or what we call 5-pocket pants, which, basically is a jean model, but all the different materials. Probably the biggest trends going in clothing now is whether you have a plaid coat like yours with a window pane overlay, or a plaid coat like mine, is fabrics have moved all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
So, when I first got into business again, and this isn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things, 2000, everything was a worsted wool, pretty much 8, 9, or 10 ounce fabric, and that was it. Now we have travertine, we have moisture wicking shirts, we have stretch fabrics, we have printed designs and printed plaids and printed not woven
into it.
Now those are less expensive, obviously,
of course.
but that is some of the trend that is interesting.
For sure.
And I'm going to tell you this one too that I think will shock a lot of people is a 3-piece suit.
I've been seeing that. I noticed, I watched CBS this morning, and I've noticed that the gentlemen are wearing a matching vest. It seems like there are times you're not going to dress up, you're going to be very casual, but then there are times that when you are going to dress up, you're going to dress up.
That's
you're going to wear the tie and the cufflinks and the whole shebang. And it's really kind of fun to have that outfit that you're going to wear to this. As you say, it's not like what you're going to wear necessarily to work, but it's what you're going to wear to the cocktail party.
Right.
And everybody goes, oh, wow, you look great.
That's
and, your wife's dressed up as well.
And you were speaking of cufflinks. I tell every client I have, I don't own a shirt that has buttons. So I wear cufflinks every day, whether I'm wearing jeans or a tuxedo. Every day I have cufflinks. First of all, I like them.
I do too.
And
I don't
second
have
of all, I work a lot with my hands. So I have a lot of people look at my cufflinks. So I've always been a French cuff guy.
I love them. The shirts that you've made for me, and even with the monogram, you know, it really, that's something, especially if you're in sales and you're working with your hands a lot, for sure. That's, and I'll tell you something I love is the fabric that is in the fishing shirts. Now they're making it in the men's dress shirts.
Absolutely, yeah.
And those are wonderful to travel with, or you're a little hot, you know, maybe you're with a client you've never met before and you're a little hot feeling, you don't feel as hot with a sport coat on with those shirts on. Well, what is the most important piece of a man's wardrobe that they should invest in?
I have always said that I think every man needs a navy blue suit in his closet.
For sure.
You know, I probably get asked on a daily basis, what do I need that I can wear to any occasion? Because let's face it, most men don't have a clue what to wear, when to wear it, and how to wear it. That's where I come in. Some guys do, but most people don't. And a navy blue suit is oh Lord, I have to go to a funeral. Oh Lord, I got to go to this family member of mine's wedding that I forgot about. I just got a big promotion at work and I got to meet with the boss. I have a board meeting. I have a cocktail party. I have any other occasion. If a guy has a white shirt and a navy blue suit, it'll work. And
you can go anywhere. I know my mother always said, a man is never wrong in a suit.
Nope.
So you can go really to a barbecue in a suit.
Absolutely.
And you can, if you've got a dark suit, even if it's black tie optional, you still can go.
Sure.
So it's so versatile, and everybody sadly is going to have a death in the family they have to go to, a wedding they have to go to. Like you say, I definitely agree with that, and you make mine. Yeah. Well, if someone's looking to invest in something that's a statement,
okay.
So that let's say their wife just loves to dress up and they're wanting something they can wow their wife with, wow people at the office with, wow a client with. What is something that they can purchase that is a statement piece?
I think statement pieces can kind of be all over the board, and I hate to, and I'm not avoiding that question, but there's a lot of different answers.
That's a true statement.
There, you can have a suit that is a three-piece suit. Is a very big statement piece.
Just the cut.
Absolutely. When you wear a coat, vest, and pant, that's a big statement. When you wear French cuff shirts, when you have a formal, let's say maybe you have a formal event, and you had a obviously black three-piece tuxedo, and then maybe a Madras plaid bow tie. Something like that. Or you can do a statement piece with the current sport coat you have on, because those aren't sport coats you see.
Because it's just the fabric, and I like a pocket square.
I do too.
I have so many people, they'll look at my pocket square, and then lots of times I have my Keller Williams real estate tag here, and I find people going, Oz pocket square tag, Oz pocket square tag, and I'm like, well, that's good. They're remembering my name. Hopefully they're studying my name.
And the pocket squares kind of replaced the tie. Not replaced it, but that's everybody's pop of color.
I hate a tie. I think they are pantyhose for men.
That's funny. I love ties.
I think they look great, but I always feel like I'm like, I can dress up as much as I want to dress up, but the tie, I never have enjoyed them.
I understand.
Well, and I had another question about what makes you stand out in business, but I think you kind of answered that. But I want to ask you, as a native Andersonian, because I'm a realtor that serves Anderson, Greenville, Seneca, and Clemson, but what do you think, especially for somebody that's looking to relocate to the Anderson, Greenville area, what's something that makes this a great place to live and a great place to own a business?
Well, again, that is something that I was prepared to answer because it's very easy for me. It is the loyalty of these people.
For sure.
Anderson has been great for me. I travel all over the country. I see people literally all over the country. I have offices in 2 different states. This is home, always will be home, always will be where our headquarters is. And I owe everything I have to the people of Anderson because of how loyal they've been to me.
I do too. Absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
And I know I was talking with my 97-year-old uncle. I had lunch with him today at Sullivan's near your Anderson location. And a few weeks ago, he said he had been across the United States, and I've been fortunate enough to go to 49 states. I miss in Vermont. And we commented that really it's one of the nicest places to live. The climate is great. The people are great. The economy is great. There's a lot of educational opportunities here. It's really Shangri-La, and a lot of people are finding that out. And I'm dealing with so many people
I bet you
relocating. It's amazing how many Wisconsin, Tennessee, a lot of Alabama people are coming here. So
Not
that's
quite as many tornadoes.
that's one thing I've mentioned to them, is that the mountains moderate the weather a little
You got
bit.
me beat a little bit. I've been to 45. You've been to
45.
49.
Which ones are you missing?
I'm missing Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Hawaii, and Alaska.
Oh, those are some of the best.
I know.
You need to plan a road trip up there and then take a cruise. Well, I always ask all of my podcast guests,
Okay.
what is their favorite quote or their greatest life lesson?
All right, so 2 different answers there. My favorite quote is hands down that price is only an issue in the absence of value.
Oh, that's a good one. Price, say that one more time.
Price is only an issue in the absence of value.
Love it.
And life lesson is very simple. And I learned this in 2009. And any of your viewers or listeners that watch this know how hard 2009 was in everything.
It was. It's horrible.
Is that we control nothing.
Very sure.
I get up every day. I go to work. If you get up and you do your job and you work hard and leave the rest up to the good Lord, that's what controls everything. That we have no control. You and I had no control over a pandemic. We had no control over a banking fiasco.
Nope.
Because surely neither one of us would have chosen that.
Nope. We just have to know it's in God's hands
That's
every day.
100%. And we can't control it.
Well, Craig, thank you for being my guest on my
for having me.
podcast. I always
Thank
love
you.
doing business with you.
Yes, sir.
And again, Craig Cahaly with Cahaly Custom Clothier, and I'm David Locke with Lock and Key Associates, your realtor.